BaoBab Mississippi. I'm your host, DeKeither Stamps. We got our fill-in co-host here, Miss Jackie Amos. How you doing today, Jackie?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm hanging in there, baby.
You're always hanging in there.
I'm hanging in there.
You're always hanging in there.
I'm hanging in there. I sure appreciate you for coming by, helping out.
It was nice leaving work on time for a change.
Ladies and gentlemen, we want to start our show off by first remembering those folks who are going through bereavement. We know that we have lost some warriors. We've lost folks, but specifically Judge Larita Cooper Stokes. We just want to pause before we even get started with the show, just to, send our prayers and our condolences to the whole family. She was my mother's first cousin, and the community's conscience. Some of my fondest memories of Judge Stokes was when she was a city council person. She represented Ward 3, and I represented Ward 4, so we sat next to each other. And when you come on the Jackson City Council, it's a little destabilizing. It's a little, it's a different place. It's not what you think about. It's not what the civics class says it is. It is what it is. And she was able to point us to the empathy of the situation, of people's life and what they're going through, and really be the conscience of the council. I know a lot of people have a lot of different motivations when they get elected, right? But her motivation was, well, how does it affect people? How does it affect their quality of life? How does it affect, their lifestyle and livelihood? Not just what's best for a contractor, what's best for these other groups. Well, how does it affect regular people? And I think that caring and that concern and that passion is a major driver in her life. And just her service, her just open-hearted, willing to teach you anything you don't know, help you talk you through it. I just appreciate Judge Stokes, and I'm sure the community does as well. I know the community does as well, from all over, not just from right here in Jackson, but all over the country. Her and Councilman Kenneth Stokes are known. They be asked to speak in places all over this country. I remember one time he was coming out of Philadelphia doing a speaking engagement with folks that brought him in to come. So I just appreciate both their life work right there in Georgetown and Jackson, Mississippi. Any comments about Judge Stokes?
No, I just, I remember being in Kansas City, Missouri. Micheal and I lived in Missouri, and I remember seeing them both on CNN. Mm-hmm. And I had a neighbor that said, I think I saw a councilman, and I don't know, I think it was his wife. Mm-hmm. She had a hat on, and she looked real like she was supporting him. I can't remember. I don't remember if it was the flag issue. It was years ago. Mm-hmm. But I just remember that what I know about the both of them. They had two peas in a pod. Mm-hmm. They feed off of each other. They mm-hmm. supported each other, and she had to be a strong woman to support Councilman Stokes' continuous service, because he served every day, all day, and she mm-hmm. was right there, and she supported him. And we don't have a whole lot of that. I remember passing through the courthouse. She mm-hmm. Going in, she's going to work.
And when she got elected,
just a servant.
She was the most effective judge
right
out there.
I heard that.
With the number of cases that were pushed through, number of cases she got done and got the cases done effectively, right, with the proper decorum. She's just stellar.
Never heard one negative thing come
from anyone.
From anyone, honestly. Win, lose, or draw, regardless of what side you were on, they felt she was fair. That's
right. And that's all you can ask for. You go to court, you feel that folks did you right. We're going to open up the phone lines, ladies and gentlemen, for those who I know, because the whole community is mourning and hurting. If you want to tell a story about Judge Larita Cooper Stokes or the Stokes family, or send your prayers, if you want to express something, give us a call. The calling number is 601-948-5950. That's 601-948-5950. give us a call to express your concerns, your ideas, your well wishes to the family. If you got something you want to share, we're going to spend the first few minutes of the show allowing folks to call in and share some things that you may have on your heart. Because I do know a lot of times when the community gets hit with things, there's no avenue or vehicle to express how you're feeling out there. And folks may be saying a lot of different things, but you don't have your voice. And so our show at Revive Mississippi has always been about giving people a voice, giving people an opportunity to share what's on their mind, good or bad, pleasure and pain, storm and rain, sunshine as well. So if you want to call in, the call-in number is 601-948-5950. Give us a call and share what you may have on your heart in relation to Judge Larita Cooper Stokes and Councilman Kenneth Stokes, because they're two peas in a pod. And the way they serve, the intensity of it, and it's all day.
And it's always about the people.
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard anyone say, "Oh, he or she are only thinking about themselves." Everything that they do, that they've ever done, has always been for the people. They've been a voice, and so I mean, obviously, people, we have to pick up the torch and and keep it going. And I think that that's something, especially for myself, I am constantly attempting or trying to encourage young people to pay attention, young people to just not necessarily follow in footsteps, but you can walk side by side. These folks, Councilman Stan, I still call you Councilman, Councilman, Representative, what we're gonna be, we just gonna keep going.
We're gonna keep serving.
We're gonna keep serving.
That's right.
And so, and I've seen young people that you have around you, that you have, nurtured over the years. And I see the work that they're doing now. And that is because you were open to teach, and they were open to receive the lessons. And so growing up, I've seen that. I saw it with
your dad,
my father,
right? First, and your mom, all those basketball players he pumped through,
those folks, and so having, and we have to continue. We've got to pick up, and we've got to make sure that those issues, that the causes are not lost, because that person is no longer here, and so someone has to step in. But those are serious imprints or footprints. You step down off there, you're gonna step there, you're gonna be pretty far. You're gonna be deep, because a lot of work has been done.
In times like this, I also like to just remember. A lot of times we kind of gloss over some things and move too fast in moments. And she would sit in the council meeting with the decorum and grace, and it could be tumultuous, it could be some dicey conversations, and she would sit there and be almost like she's in the position of attention, and then she'd look over and she'd wink her eye at you, and she'd raise her hand and say something, and it would be so laser focused in the comments that she made, in the things that she would bring up in conversation, where it may seem like she may not have been paying attention, but she was paying particular attention, and she would speak with such laser focus, and just it was beautiful to watch the way she carried herself. And then when she became a judge, the way she was able to manage a courtroom and manage, because these are people's lives.
Right. Yeah.
That you were dealing with here. And no matter if you were guilty or innocent or however it worked out, always standing up for what's right means that people will be right there with you and still support you, even though it may not have gone in their favor. Right. So it was just a joy to sit back and watch. Over the last few days, when I got that news, it really hit me like a ton of bricks. I got that phone call, my cousin called me. And so I called my mom, and it just really, I've been kind of destabilized a little bit this week. And I had to get me together so that I can, come here and do what we do here. But when you saw people serve through the issues that they served, I've seen Kenneth serve sick. I've seen her serve sick. And so when those periods where I'm not well, it gives me the strength and the courage to serve, to stand up for what's right. So I ask the citizens that are listening on some of my voice, draw strength from Judge Stokes' life, but then do something with it. It don't matter if it's your Sunday school group or your church or your usher board or your neighborhood association, your neighborhood association in your community. Take that strength and do something with it. We got too many folks on the sidelines resting all of their ability on a few people. No, I'm the type of leader that says, don't give me the torch and follow me. Let's give everybody a torch. Let's walk together.
You said something, and you said something. You said you have seen them, and we have. Mm-hmm. We've seen them serve, not feeling well. Mm-hmm. I watched my father work, get up, not feeling well. My mom, the same. My grandparents, the same. And so I have, people constantly tell me, mm-hmm. You don't feel well, go home. Why did you come in today? You didn't feel well. Mm-hmm. Because I draw strength from knowing mm-hmm. that I can do this. Mm-hmm. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I'm not going to, I'm not even checking myself out of the ER. But you don't feel well, you pull, you
That's right.
You say your prayers, you dig deep, you pull your bootstraps up and you get the job done. But I just don't think that people really, they're not intentional. Mm-hmm. I try to, every day I have a to-do list. Mm-hmm. Things that I intend to do, that I need to do. So I try to be intentional about doing certain things. Mm-hmm. And I try to follow them through. I try not to have as many commas. Mm-hmm. I have a period, I'm done. Number 2, okay? Period, done. If you continue to, I think that if I were to do a little bit here, pause, a little bit there, pause, I'm not successful. Mm-hmm. There's no way to be successful at anything that you do. So be intentional with what your aspirations are, what the needs are, mm-hmm. But also take care of yourself. And you have told me that over and over again.
Y'all my witness, ladies and gentlemen.
You tell me
I told it over and over again. Take care of yourself.
You can't take care of other people if you're not healthy. You say that to me all the time.
Right.
And I am learning.
And your health is your number one wealth.
Your health. Well, without it,
right.
Yeah, you lose. There's no richness.
Ladies and gentlemen, the call-in number is 601-948-5950. And if you have a comment or a well wish you want to send out to the Stokes family, or a testimony about how they've affected your life, and give us a call and share it with the world. Because Judge Larita Cooper Stokes will be missed beyond measure, both in our family, but more importantly in our community. Mm-hmm. So give us a call at 601-948-5950. And as we wait for our first caller, you have an event that's coming up that you want to talk about as well.
We do. The Hinds County Democratic Executive Committee will be hosting a Meet the Candidates in the park, at Smith Park, mm-hmm. on May the 20th. And it's all candidates, mm-hmm. Including Democratic elected officials, mm-hmm. that don't have opponents, mm-hmm. right? That won't be on the August ballot. I'll take that back. I was in a training. I was in a training last week. And if you recall, we used to put unopposed candidates on the ballot. And then the administration, when I say the administration, Secretary of State's office, they took that away from us. And we weren't allowed to put unopposed mm-hmm. candidates, meaning candidates that did not have a primary opponent, mm-hmm. But had general election opponents. So we are able to do that now. Mm-hmm. So the ballot's going to be pretty lengthy, but all of you all that are unopposed in the Democratic primary, according to the Secretary of State's office, mm-hmm. We are allowed to have you on the ballot. And I say that because we wanted to push that, and I continue to ask that question because people need to see this name. They're going in August to vote, and so they're going to go down the ballot, and they'll see a DeKeither Stamps or whoever else is on there that doesn't have an opponent until November, and so they'll see those names, and so when they come around in November, like, hey, that's he's running or she was running. I remember, and when they start knocking on doors after August 8th, they'll say, I voted for you. And then you get to say, I need you to vote for me one more time. I need for you to vote for me one more time. But we're having a meet the candidates, and we actually have statewide candidates that have committed to coming, and it's going to be fun. We're going to have food trucks out there. We're going to have some entertainment. Candidates are obviously going to speak, but set up their tables and talk to constituents, talk to to voters. We're going to have voter registration table out there. We're going to do some voter education. I actually, June the 3rd, we're going to have a training. Well, I'll be training candidates June the 3rd, and so we're going to go from being a candidate, being on the ballot, what takes place the day before the election, what takes place on election day, what to expect. And so we're just trying to do as much education as possible, but get the candidates into an atmosphere. Smith Park is nice, by the way. It's been renovated. It looks really, really nice. And so we're gonna have security. And people have been asking, and you have security there? Yes, we have security. Yes, I understand that we've had some issues in Jackson, and we are working through those. And yes, we will have security there. And I don't expect any problems or any issues regarding that, but they will be there. We have free food, free hot dogs, hamburgers. It's just going to be a fun time. It's from 11 to 2 in the park, and we just want the citizens to come out and meet these candidates face to face. Ask them ask them questions that they have. Find out. We got some primaries that are. I mean, I think there are 8 or 9 candidates in a couple of those, and a couple of those races. So all of those folks are going to be out there. So come out, talk to the candidates, and so that you can make a decision, on who you want or you feel will best represent you.
Okay, I think we got a caller here. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show. What's your question or comment?
How you doing, Mr. Stamps?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm fine, sir. I was just letting you know that I truly love Mr. Kenny I. Stokes and his wife. I've been knowing him for 50 years, and they're some of the better raised people in fertile land and love our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And I really am hurt because she was not biased to situations that is contrary to common life in our community. She stood there and she stood by her husband, and I'm really sadly hurting because there's not too many people can stand in her shoes as a woman. And she's a beautiful, outstanding, perfect example for a true woman in our community.
Well, we appreciate you for calling in, caller. Thanks for calling in, and make sure you stay tuned in, okay?
Okay, God bless. I listen to you all the time.
Well, I appreciate it, sir. Where you calling in from?
And God bless you in your new position. I hope, pray that Jesus Christ bless you to be what you are, and you, Mr. Stamps, your community and your family have really put some value of business in our community.
Yes, sir. Where you calling in from, sir?
I'm in Jackson, Mississippi.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you calling in.
I'm in West Jackson. It's one of the worst area, but
I wouldn't say the worst area. West Jackson needs some love and support.
I live in West Jackson.
Yeah.
We have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, a lot of work.
We got a lot of work to do, but yeah, I don't plan on moving out. We're just gonna continue to work and build and make it better.
Well, I appreciate y'all energy, and I'm glad to be here to hear you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. God bless
God
you.
bless. God bless.
Mhm. And again, ladies and gentlemen, the call-in number is 601-948-5950. If you want to call in and leave a tribute to the life and legacy of Judge Larita Cooper Stokes, please do so. Again, the call-in number is 601-948-5950. And back to what you were saying, Jackie, we got to be engaged. You know, Tate Reeves only won the governor's race by about 45,000 votes.
Yeah, so.
There were 50,000 people in Jackson that didn't vote. You know,
There were, yes.
how much more than that? A little
Yes,
more than
there's
that.
more than that.
A little more than that. Way more than that.
There were
But my
more.
point I'm trying to make is we can sway some of these higher ticket races so that our communities don't look like, you know, well, they just pay taxes and they get nothing in return.
Right.
We want for all communities to get something in return. You're paying taxes, you're buying car tags, you're doing stuff. You're financing the city, financing the county, financing the state. Well, the citizens need things in return. They need basic services. On our side of the fence, we're running for public service commissioner for the Central District of Mississippi. So you can get something in return on the utility side. But beyond that, we want a return for everybody. We want folks to be able to get quality services no matter who they are or where they live.
You know, I think for the most part, what just being out in the community, people have become accustomed. I'll get a phone call, you'll get a phone call, and neither one of us are in the positions, you know, are the representatives
to do it,
to get that done. But we know the people, right? We know who to call and we know what to say, and we can you know, relay that message. But it's really important for our elected officials, especially those that continue to be reelected, you know, or not have opponents. Those are the ones that actually should be still out there on doors in the community. I think, because if not, you know, they lose sight. Elections hold people, make them, you know, responsible. They hold them accountable. They have to get out and talk to people. My biggest issue is not hearing from my elected officials, until it's election time.
You know, that's the whole reason we did this show 10 years ago.
You know,
It's been 10 years.
It's been 10 years. It's been
10 years. 10 years ago,
years.
we've been sitting down here every Wednesday night from 6 to 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
You can't say you can't find it.
No. Oh,
you
no.
ain't heard from it.
No, they can find you. No, they can find you.
And this is the first time not the first time, but most time we had the man here, Williams Friendly Call. We got this beautiful DJ here who is answering the phone and everything. Most of them, I just press the button and say, what you got to
Call
say?
you on there. No, but you have to be able to take that, you know, and it's criticism. Some of it's criticism, and some of it's just like this gentleman, this young man that called earlier, before, he said, thank you, you know, thank you for what you do. And you don't always get that. You don't always get that. And that's okay. That's all right, because at the end of the day, at night, in the morning, when you wake up, you have to be okay with who you see in the mirror, you see in the mirror. And so your work determines that, you know, and how you feel. Now, if you cannot do anything and continue to say that you are a servant, that's between you and your God. I don't get into that. Jackie takes care of and makes sure that Jackie's good with what she's done during the day, you know, just as you are.
That's right.
And so, you know, you're a man on a mission, right? Is that what you said? You're a man on a mission.
That's right.
I was blessed and honored and accepted into the coalition of the Central Mississippi chapter of 100 Black Women. I was inducted on Sunday.
And congratulations for that.
And yes, I was inducted on Sunday. And that particular organization, watching it over the years, raise money, scholarships for young women. They advocate. And that's a platform that I need to be able to continue doing what I've been doing, because it's kind of hard to do, you know, all the time. You have to have a group. You have to have a group of like-minded folks, you know, around you. And everything we do on a daily basis, whether it's going to the grocery store, whether we're getting gas, it's political.
Mm-hmm.
I can go to the Piggly Wiggly in Canton, Mississippi, and eggs, a dozen eggs, $9. But I can go to another part of Madison County, and I pay $5 for a dozen eggs, right?
Somebody decided that.
Someone made that decision.
Mm-hmm.
That's a political decision. Someone made that decision. The same with gas. You know, it go on it, fruit, vegetables, you know, and people talk about, you know, Jackson being a food, or areas in Jackson being a food desert, areas in Madison County are food deserts. So what are we doing about it?
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to, why aren't we working on developing good workforce, training people as they get out of high school? Everyone's not going to college, but they can be trained, right? They can be trained, they can be taught. We have to teach people how to interview, how to develop and create a resume, how to fill out a job application. All of that, all of that, it is, how do I say, in order to complete the journey and for people to be able to interview and be hired for some of these jobs. We have in the state of Mississippi right now, we have plants, we have companies, huge Fortune 500 companies. People are moving into Mississippi from other states, acquiring these jobs instead of Mississippians
right
holding these jobs.
That's right.
That falls on us.
That's on us. And so
that falls on us.
We have to make sure that we do what we need to do to steer our children to the jobs first that are here. And second, the jobs of the future.
Right. Because there are, oh my gosh, that's what we're not preparing our children for.
Prepare your children for the jobs that are here and the jobs of the future.
Because robotics are coming in. The physical body is not going to be needed here in the near future.
That's right. So we got to make sure we groom our young folks for the journey ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, the call-in number is 601-948-5950. That's 601-948-5950. Our guest today is Ms. Jacqueline Amos. She is a longtime community advocate, longtime supporter of the show, and no stranger here. And she's also working across the state to get folks engaged in the electoral process. And there's an event that's coming up on next Saturday. For those who may just tuned in, tell us a little bit about the event that's coming up next Saturday.
So next Saturday, May 20th, from 11 to 2, we're going to have the Hinds County Democratic Executive Committee is going to host, and we did it before, meet the candidates, so like candidates in the park. So all of the candidates that are on the ballot will be there, set up. They're going to have their tables set up with all their paraphernalia. They will be there. You'll be able to have, communicate with them, ask them questions, hold them to the fire. That's the purpose. This is not the time to run. This is not time to run the wrong way.
That's right.
So they will be there and you'll be able to ask them those questions. We're going to have food, fun, food trucks. We'll have some entertainment. Wow, man. Wow Man is going to be on the mic.
All right.
And we're going to have a good time, but it's going to be about education. It's serious voter education. And you know that I advocate and I train, and I'm training others to be able to do that. To be able to do that. Next week, I am scheduled I'm going to create a video on voter registration, the process. I'm going to create a second video on the absentee ballot process, what that looks like. And don't forget, we will also be requesting the inactive voter roll. We have people that are on the inactive voter roll, and I know that you are very well aware of the law that was passed. Last week, the Secretary of State's office said that won't go into effect for another 3 or 4 years. Jacqueline Amos is telling you that I don't believe that.
No.
Okay.
July the 1st, there's going to be a massive voter purge across the whole state of Mississippi. The law they wrote to streamline our electoral process, give them the ability to wipe folks off the voter rolls who haven't voted in 2 federal elections. So you got folks who may do like I did, left, went to the military, they're gonna come back, they're not gonna be registered to vote.
Right.
You got folks who may have missed a time to vote or 2 times to vote, and they're gonna have the legal ability to purge them off the voter rolls. But deeper than that, they're gonna have the ability to audit the elections after the election.
After the election.
So once the election happens and it doesn't come out the way they want it to come out, they're gonna be able to go back through all of the people who voted and find people who may not have, should have been purged off the rolls, and it's crossed them out and change an election after the election has happened if it don't go their way.
And so when you say they, you say they, I'm gonna go a step further, because we aren't in power. Okay, so that's a Republican administration. Now, for us as people, as Democrats, and even Republicans, there's gonna be some of them they're gonna come off. They haven't voted either, but who's in control?
That's
so we have to think about that. But what I also learned, and I guess I should have known, but it was never taught to us over the years. The old administration never said anything about it. But just so the listening audience, when you go to change your driver's license, to update your driver's license, make sure that that paper that you sign has the address in which you live. A lot of us go and we update our driver's license, renew our driver's license, but we don't change the address that's on there. So when you sign that paper, if you don't change the address that's on there, that moves you. That'll move you to the purging or inactive. No, that's actually purging, because they're going to send a letter. They're going to send a card to that address. If that card is returned to sender, then they remove you. They went over that yesterday.
Let me make something clear. So the event that you're having in Smith Park is next Saturday.
Next Saturday.
Not this coming Saturday.
No.
I got a few comments. Judge Larita Cooper Stokes' funeral services will be at New Hope Baptist Church at 10 a.m. And
that's May 20th.
No, the funeral service will be this coming Saturday.
Oh, is this coming Saturday?
Correct.
Okay, not on the 20th.
Correct.
Okay, right.
It's this coming Saturday, the 13th.
Okay, because we were trying to figure out we were going to move the date, if it was possible to move the date.
So I just want to make sure that's clear. Miss Virginia just kind of chimed in that that event at Smith Park is next Saturday,
the 20th.
The services will be at New Hope Baptist Church at 10 a.m. and the Jackson Memorial is handling the arrangements, and Friday evening will be the viewing service at Jackson Memorial. Right there, and and hats off to Damien. What they've done right there, and Councilman Kenny Stokes was a major part in helping to maneuver that. But they went from some vacant houses, were able to wipe them off and build a thriving business right there, right in the heart of Georgetown, right on the main street there. So hats off to them, what they're doing over there.
And they deliver amazing services. They really do.
Yeah, they deliver a major service right in the middle of our community. And the funeral services, again, it'll be Saturday at 10 a.m. at New Hope Baptist Church. And the Jackson Memorial is handling the arrangements. So govern yourselves accordingly. Make sure you participate. And come out in your physical form. Come to the service. Don't just tune in like some folks tune in online, stuff like that. I'm a firm believer that when people see you, they can know you care about them. Come on out and pay your respects. It's going to be a wonderful service because it's a celebration of her life. It's a celebration of a beautiful life, a life well lived, a life that was intentional. So let's make sure that we govern ourselves accordingly.
Yeah.
And Jackie,
yes.
Give us an update of what's going on with the Hinds County Democratic Party.
So right now we are
beyond that event.
We are in a phase of re-registering inactive voters, meaning finding those voters, sending them, mailing them a voter registration application, along with a self-addressed stamped envelope. So all they have to do is fill out the application and mail it into the clerk's office, making it easy, right? Because a lot of people don't know that they're inactive.
That's right.
They don't know the process. And I use this example quite often. After the 2018, I believe, federal election.
Hold on. I just got an update. The services will be May the 20th. My mom just texted me and she says it's going to be May the 20th at 10 a.m.
May the 20th.
Yeah. So we're going to have to make that correction. Ladies and gentlemen, I stand corrected. I apologize for saying the wrong services.
Right. I think I may have got the same text.
Right. My mom is an avid listener of the show. So I just want to make sure that we.
So it's not this Saturday.
Yeah. So we make sure that we govern ourselves accordingly for that. But if you want to call in, ladies and gentlemen, the call-in number is 601-948-5950 to express your testimony or some words of encouragement to the Stokes and family. Give us a call so that they listen to the show all the time. So if you got something you would like to say for the family and the community in relation to Judge Stokes, you can definitely express those concerns by calling in. The number is 601-948-5950.
Can we talk a little bit about voter registration? We have a call.
Yeah, we got a call. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show. What's your question or comment?
Yes, sir. How you doing, sir?
Hey, how you doing, sir?
This is Reverend McQuay out in Brandon. I just called to try to come back. Come from Stokes, Kenny.
Yes, sir.
By the wife. Now I just take with him, you know. Do you have his number?
I wrote your number down, and I can send it to him.
All right, do that to tell him to Reverend Gary. Just a Reverend Gary to call.
Reverend Gary?
Yeah.
And you're from out in Rankin County?
Brandon, yeah.
Okay, I will send him your number, sir.
All right, thanks, sir.
All right.
Yeah, so I want to talk a little bit about voter registration. And first and foremost, thank you to all of the different organizations that host drives, voter registration drives. What happens is, unless you are familiar with or educated on the process of filling out that form, you can register 100 people in a day, and only 10 of them will be completed correctly, and the rest will be thrown out. And so what we have charged our voter registration subcommittee, and that's led by our chairwoman Kathy Sykes, is we are continuing the drives, the voter registration drives, but I actually do voter registration training. So any clubs, organizations, entities out there that are thinking about or contemplating or putting together voter registration drives, please contact me. I don't mind. I sit down, stand, and I train them on how those forms should be filled out from top to bottom, so that when they make it to the circuit clerk's office, Zach's office doesn't have to put them in, file 13, because there's no way to contact those folks after that.
Let me just make sure we clear this up here.
Okay.
If you're registering folks to vote, make sure you fill the form out right.
Yeah.
That's as simple as it is.
Right.
Educate yourself on the form that you're filling out, because it's a legal transaction.
Right.
And so make sure you fill the form out correctly, and then turn it in appropriately. So that's some basic things. And if somebody wants to get their group or organization trained on how to register somebody to vote, how would they reach out to you?
601-213-8018.
One more time, real slow.
601-213-8018. Just send a text get with your name and your organization and why, you know, what you're calling for, and I will call you back and we will get it set up. I've been doing it. We've been doing it for years.
We can do a quick Zoom call.
It can be Zoom.
Talk you through it.
Right.
And you can be effective and register people to vote and re-registering people to vote.
And that's key.
See, the re-registration.
That's it.
See,
right
when
there.
you move, you're supposed to vote where you live.
That's what the law says.
That's what the law says. And a lot of times in many communities, people will move and not change their voter registration. But they should, because you should vote in the precinct that you live in.
Right.
So when you hear folks talk about illegal voters, those things, that's that person. If it's you, it's you, but you need to vote where you live. Every time you move, vote where you live, change your, go re-register to vote. So if you grew up in, you know, like me, I registered to vote in Larita, Mississippi. Well, when I moved to Jackson, I changed my voter information. So again, don't just stay registered to vote at the same place you grew up in. When you move, you should change your voter registration information to vote where you live.
So, but not voting where you live, so you're not voting your interests, number one, especially if it's a council race, supervisor race, district, you know, a district type race. So you don't live there. And I always use myself as an example. When I first moved back home, I got up every election morning, left my house, went and voted with my mom and my dad. That's what we did. We had breakfast in the morning at 7 o'clock when the polls were open. We were standing there.
Standing tall.
But I didn't live there.
That's right.
I didn't. It wasn't until I really got into Ms. Dorothy Benford, Dr. Corrine Anderson, and Payton, all of those folks, like, you know, getting into it. And when I began training and began taking all these classes and started these new jobs, I said, hey, I'm not registered where I live. That's illegal. That's against the law.
That's right.
So Jackie registered and she voted. She votes where she lives. She still goes over for breakfast in the morning, but she votes where I vote where I live. Yes. Hey,
Ms. Zeno, it's been years since we've seen you tuned in. We appreciate you for tuning in, ma'am. Miss Virginia Case tuned in online, Timothy Brown, and others. We appreciate you all tuning in. We're talking about voter registration and getting out to vote. So we just want to say, vote where you live. Vote where you live. Re-register if you move. Go ahead and re-register. And we also, as an overarching tenet to the show, what we plan to do, but the situation dictated it. If you want to call in and give a testimony about the life and legacy of Judge Larita Cooper Stokes, you can give us a call at 601-948-5950. That's 601-948-5950 to send well wishes to the family, a tribute, or even a testimony of how the Stokes family and the Cooper family have affected your life, touched your life in a special way. I believe in saying stuff out loud. And for me, she was, you know, we sat next to each other. When I got elected, she was a Ward 3 council person when I got elected. And I still say my 2013 group was the best council we've ever been on. And she was a major piece to that because we were just diverse, different backgrounds, different socioeconomic groups. But she brought that empathy for people, the empathy for service to us that made us focus on, well, how does it affect people? How does it affect the issues in our community? So again, if you want to call in, you are definitely welcome to do so. We got 10 minutes left to go on the show. Talk about some of the things around the state, because I know we talk about Hines County a lot, but what are some of the things that you see in other places in the state? You travel the state like I do. What are some of the things you see around the state?
So around that, there are counties that actually do things completely different. They are set in their ways, the way they handle primaries, the way they run general elections. I get calls all the time asking me if something is proper, correct, if it's legal.
Hello, caller. Welcome to the show. What's your question or comment?
Hey, Mrs. Combs, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. I just wanted to say something in behalf of Rita. I definitely want to say that she's gonna very well be missed, and she's not replaceable even on the bench. And I just think the opportunities that she afforded me. A lot of times when she was running for re-election, she called me and asked me to do a spot for her on the radio or come sit in for it and take an interview for her. And I just wanted to say to the people and to Councilman Stokes and to you all, it's a wonderful thing that you all are doing in memory of her, and that she will never be forgotten, and she definitely would be a jewel in our community. And I appreciate everything that you all dedicated to her today. And y'all be blessed. And the Stokes family, look toward the hill, which cometh all your health and strength. All your health and strength comes from the Lord. You all be at peace. God bless you.
Take care. We have another call. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show. What's your question or comment?
Yes, this is Addie Green. I was calling to send my condolences out on behalf of Judge Stokes and Mr. Kenneth Stokes. I can remember in our journey being over at Betty Hunt's house, planning for the Martin Luther King and the parade along side of Dr. Aaron Henry. And so I just want to say to the Stokes family, we are praying for them. Larita just didn't sit down when she came out of school. She was busy helping in the trenches along with her mother-in-law. The mother-in-law, Mrs. Stokes, would cook those big, good corn pies.
That's right.
And we all would go over there and eat corn pies. And then she would also cook that good old cornbread and greens. And look, we had a feast there.
That's
on
right.
that corn. And so, and then her father, he would always prepare. He had the what they call a flower shop. That's Judge Stokes' father. And he would send flowers to different programs that we were having. So she came from good stock.
That's right.
You know, everybody can't say that, but I'm saying today, and I've always give she and Councilman Stokes that credit, that they just was good folk with Dino, with the tax over there in the tax assessor office. We would travel all the way to Bill Clinton's town on the bus, and we just had a good time. And so my prayers and my condolences goes out to the family, and particularly to Kenneth, who and the children who worked so hard with the mother. So thank you very much for this opportunity, and keep up the good work as we pursue to send Larita, Judge Stokes on to the house, like we all got to go. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Addie Green. We'll catch you next call.
Okay.
All right. Let's see here. It says let's see here. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show. What's your question?
Mr. Stamp.
Hey,
Mr.
Carol.
Stamps.
Hey, Carol, all the way from Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Yes, it is, Mr. Stamps and Mrs. Amos.
Yes. How are you?
I want to make a comment about Judge Stokes. I have been listening to talk shows in Jackson, mostly WNPR, but other talk shows as well, for probably about 12 to 15 years. Not once have I ever heard a negative comment about Larita Cooper Stokes. She always has maintained a very positive, upbeat, favorable public image. And I was deeply saddened to hear that she had passed away. I didn't know her, of course, but I felt like I did. And I would like to extend my condolences to Kenny Stokes as well. And thank you, DeKeither, for accepting my call tonight.
Well, God bless you, dear, and we appreciate you for calling in.
Thank you.
No,
Any parting words?
Keith, I just, just listening to Miss Addie, I can just imagine the conversations and the talks and the experiences and the trips they took together and the hills they climbed and
That's right.
And the holes they had to dig, to get from one place to the other, and they did it, and they stood, steadfast and strong, and I guess that's that strength that you were talking about building upon, because Miss Addie spoke and before, and I just and Miss Pittman's homegoing, and she told some stories, and I could just see them, I could just see them in the car going to do, honestly, the Lord's work, because that's what they did.
That's it.
They did.
A life well lived. The life legacy of Judge Larita Cooper Stokes, from not just getting elected, but being effective in tone, in tenor, and being intentional. I mean, she would speak with a laser focus in such a way you couldn't walk around it.
Right.
You couldn't sidestep it. And so I just want to say, we love you, Judge Stokes. We love you to the moon and back. And in your life, we're going to continue your legacy of how to conduct ourselves and how to research issues. Because she taught me how you can just go through the information and you can highlight these different points. And those are the major points that are the lynch points. So when you open your mouth to speak, not all over the place.
You're speaking facts.
You're speaking facts. You're speaking direct to the heart of the issue. You don't have to say a lot to be effective. So I just want to say thank you, Judge Stokes, for that you've given us, and then the family you've given us. All of them, children, grandchildren. I mean, just beautiful folks.
Thank them for sharing her and Councilman Stokes.
For their whole lives.
Stokes, they dedicated their lives to us. So family, we're here, and we just thank you for sharing her with us. And Councilman Stokes, you are forever and always have been, but now more than ever, in our hearts and our prayers. We are here for you. I know that your phone is blowing up. I know you have a million messages. Most of them may be from me, from my office. But that's just to let you know, and I'm sure you do know, that we're here and that we're thinking about you. We love you, and we're going to continue praying. But we know that you will miss her, but we also know that she will never leave you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this rounds up our show. We want to thank our underwriters, Mr. Michael Jordan, the Michael Jordan Transportation Service. You can go to www.mjstransportation1.com for your transportation needs. And go on over to Stamp SuperBurgers and see what they got going on in that little small shack over there. They always got something good food. Get you a whole cow between two pieces of bread. It's tasty to the last drop.
They got something for a vegetarian.
They got a whole garden between the two pieces of bread for folks like Jackie as well. So go on over there and get some of the sweet potato fries that we all love so much, and the things they have to offer. But we also want to thank the WMPR family for allowing us to be here. Almost 10 years of reviving Mississippi. And as we always say, as we end every show, is never let anybody put you in a position where you don't love your own people. Because when you hate your own folks, you're part of the very oppression we're trying to lift ourselves out of. I love you, Jackson. I love you, Mississippi. Ma'am, get us out of here.
Good night.